We are back on the hook. They let us back on the radio this week. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday. My name is Josh Reno with Brightbox Brand Marketing, along with the marketing maverick. His name is Jason Arsmont. He's the guy that runs everything, also runs this show. And so he brings all his best friends in here.
Best friends, yeah.
Well, I think they're all your friends. I mean, my friends haven't been in here. Of course, my friends don't really have anything to talk about marketing-wise. So,
well, maybe one day we'll have one of yours just for fun. We'll have to do probably a lot of bleeping and all the profound language.
I'm not sure you would think it was that fun, but okay.
All right.
Whatever you want to do, bro.
We'll have to try one of those, a little dry run of that.
So our guest in studio right now, we have another guest later, but we have a one in right now. Why don't you introduce him for us?
Joining us for our brand review segment here. We're going to talk about PlayBoy, the brand, but thought we'd have somebody in the studio with us today to give his perspective with us. So today we've got Zach Barfuss. Zach, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, and let's talk some PlayBoy. Talk a little bit.
Yeah, I like it.
That's the only thing that you had to say to get him to come in, right?
Yeah, I said, hey, man, we're going to talk about PlayBoy. You down? He's like, yeah, I'm in.
When I had to tell my wife that I had to do some research on PlayBoy before the show, she looked at me with a crazy eye. But
well, this will be the proof, man.
Yeah,
this will be the proof. Well, before we get into that, for those listeners who don't know, Zach's a local artist. You can go to artbyzach.com and check out his work. So tell us a little bit about the type of art that you do, for those who don't know you.
Yeah, so I guess I kind of do a variety of things, but I guess a lot of people will point to it as pop art.
Okay.
So using a lot of shapes to do things like famous people. I do a lot of commission paintings of portraits of people's dogs. I just finished one of some famous athletes. I'm doing one for Von Miller at the time right now. So
it's cool.
I get some requests like that, but I also can do abstracts and landscapes. But I tend to favor a lot of people like my commission kind of wild paintings that are real bright and colorful and things like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, the use of color is what originally. So Zach and I met. I guess I was more of a fan. I stumbled across his site and really liked the work that he was doing. It was like, man, I love the use of colors here. It's vibrant. It's different, especially the ones where you do of portraits. And you've got a Marilyn Monroe and a Willie Nelson one on your website that I think are awesome. You guys got to go check these out on artbyzach.com. So when did you originally start doing art? I know this isn't something that just started all of a sudden, right? You've been doing art for a while now.
Yeah, well, I guess taking it way back, I was always a good drawer and colorer, I guess, early age,
yeah. I had a little bit of that for a while. I
was good with the Crayola.
Yeah.
And then kind of, heading into college, crazy enough, we were talking about this earlier, I had ADD.
Yeah.
And I went to go see a psychologist because at the time you had to do like some sort of test in order to get the Adderall
kind of be
pills.
Approved for it. Yeah. Okay.
And we took all these tests, and I did really terrible in math.
You passed.
I did really terrible in math, but she said that I was off the charts with all these creative reasoning things. And she wrote in this document, if there's anything your son should do, she wrote this to my mom, I strongly recommend something in art. Wow. And at the time, I'd won like an art award in high school and things like that. But in school, you really don't take any. Yeah. So then fast forward to college, and I partied a little too hard my first 2 years and was about to drop out.
Nice.
My parents basically said, well, you're going to come home if you don't pull it together. You better do something that you like to do, because whatever you're doing right now, it's not working. So I chose art, and quickly found out from some of the teachers that I had something. And then eventually I gave it up after college, and then I started painting stuff for myself, and people started buying them off my walls.
In the house.
Yeah. So
it's a good sign.
So that kind of gave me a light bulb that, hey, maybe I should do this just to make some extra cash, and it's kind of blown up into this big thing now. So I've been, nonstop. I've had people wanted me to do commissions for about 2 or 3 years now without a break. So,
man, yeah. Well, I love the stuff. I really encourage you guys to go check it out, artbyzach.com. It's beautiful work. It's reasonably priced, I think, for the quality of stuff that you're doing. Definitely reach out and connect with Zach if you've got some ideas on something you'd like. I like the commissionable aspect of it, too.
You did this Marley?
Yeah. You like that?
That's legit.
Yeah, my I think my most,
You're looking at the site.
my most popular paintings are probably the musician and musical reference paintings.
I see the
Got
Willie.
some cool stuff on there.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of detail.
That's really good.
Yeah, I'm telling you guys, you got to check this out. I wouldn't have brought him in here if he wasn't legit. I really fell in love with art years before we started talking and talking about having him come on the show. So I really encourage you guys to go check it out. Pay the guy his respects. This is great stuff, and man, I love it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little nudity.
Yes.
I guess a little Playboy time.
Okay.
It's a highlight of
Twist my
week.
arm.
This is the one time I bring up a topic, and Josh, you don't look uncomfortable.
No, I'm really comfortable with this. Let's
Totally
take our
fine.
shirts off right now.
Well, hold up.
Not us. Okay, never mind. Go ahead. Okay.
We're going to have all the people walking by the studio looking in. It's a different kind of show, real quick. This isn't Howard Stern, man. All right, so we're not just talking about Playboy because of the nudity. There's a big shakeup in what they're going to be doing as a company and as a brand. And I guess it was launched late last year that starting March, they're no longer going to even have nudity in the Playboy magazine. I guess online too. Have you heard any more about that, or what's your take on?
I'm not sure, but I know that currently right now when I visited their website, you have to pay to access their women. So there's no full nude. I don't know if that'll maybe change their pricing or maybe, because there's like a secretive section where you have to pay to access certain things.
So this is what I think is going on, because they've actually branched out into different areas, because you can do the interactive Playboy experience where you can talk to
Interactive?
Well, I'm pretty sure that you can talk to the models. There's also their own radio show. They have their own radio channel. They have a lot of different ways that they're reaching out with that provocative content.
Okay.
And a way to see their women.
Right.
Okay. So maybe this is a way for them to just be a political statement.
Well, here's what it is.
I don't know.
So here's my take on it. So I did some research, and currently they're in only 39 countries out of the 195 around the world. That's only 18%.
Wow.
And there's one country that stood out to me was Australia. Australia doesn't allow any publication of Playboy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or probably any nudity then, right?
Any nudity, yeah.
I thought that they did. I thought that they had. No?
No.
Sneak it in or something, I guess.
I actually lived there for 6 months, and I found that out while I was there. That's another story. But anyways, but what I think's happening, you've seen their readership. I think I've read a stat where they've gone from 5 million subscribers to 800,000, which isn't a lot. I also read that they lost $3 million in revenue in U.S. last year. Wow. So they use U.S. Their executives said they use it more of just a marketing tool. So they're not profitable in the U.S. So my first, and I also went to their shop online, and it's funny because 40% of their merchandise is sold in China, but China isn't published Playboy isn't published in China. So it's kind of interesting.
So their online store is doing better in China, even though they don't have
so things like shirts and fragrances and just merchandise, which is very surprising. 40% of all of their merchandise across the globe.
Huge. And you were saying what kind of revenue? They were up to like $1 billion at one point, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's a huge machine to try to turn around. I know a lot of us probably just think of it as a magazine, but I mean, you think of all those dollars, the power behind that Playboy brand to try to shift or change tides. I mean, that's just unbelievable.
Yeah, I read that in 2009 or in 2000, they were a $1 billion revenue generating company. In 2009, I think they dropped all the way to, I think it was between 180 million to 300 million.
Wow.
Which is a huge, significant drop off. Did you know, and I think I saw that Hugh Hefner only owns about 30% of Playboy right now.
He sold that stock
60% of the stock. So he's not even the majority. He's the brand champion, you know. So
still drives around with the girls.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see once he passes at some point to see where the brand goes.
I think that's a real question. What's y'all's take? I mean, when Hugh's gone, does Playboy continue or does it fizzle out? I don't see it.
I think it does, and I think it's going to take a complete rebrand, and I think that the person that's going to do it is going to be his daughter.
Wow.
Because his daughter has a pretty high-profile role with Playboy at this time.
Yeah. Well, I just think like from a branding perspective, what made Playboy so relevant was that they jumped on, a social topic. It was a movement to, kind of bring sexuality to the forefront, and to just change that now to where they're not going to have it. It's like, well, what's the next movement for you? Because there's so many small brands that can pop up nowadays, especially online and in digital world, that have a movement, that have a why. Simon Sinek on that YouTube video does a great job of talking about what is your why. And even with this announcement about they're not going to have nudity in the publication anymore, I still don't understand. I'm not getting what their why is. Like,
well, I back to what I was talking about. I think that probably their goal now is to try to move into those countries where they got kicked out of because of nudity. So maybe not having the nudity. And if you I went to their website and was shocked that, you go to the homepage and some of the titles of the different parts of the website, and there's no nudity whatsoever. So I think that they're trying to make it, work friendly to where people can visit the site without any issues of being blocked and things like that. There was I counted 48 articles, and none of them, I think 2 out of the 48 even talked about sex or even mentioned anything sexually. It was all like clickbait. So they're trying to get people to click on these.
Yeah,
it's almost like all these years we laughed about how, if someone said, "Why do you have Playboy?" or "Why do you subscribe?" Say, "Oh, well, I buy it because of the articles." Well, now everyone buys it because it's for the articles.
Yeah, they don't have a choice now.
Yeah,
man. Well, I get that. I think like from a business standpoint, it makes sense to get into new markets. But then like we have Maxim, right? Maxim still seems to be doing okay, I guess, for what their space is. I'm still not like, I'm wondering what their movement or what their pursuit of publication is going to be. Like, I'm just not quite understanding. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. And my guess is that the brand fades out and just dies after Hugh passes.
But evidently it's not for the articles because they were a huge company just in 2001, as you said, and then they dropped down to, a third, maybe a quarter of what they used to be.
Right.
Well, it's because you can just
type something in. Think about it this way. Now. Well, I think a lot of it, when we talked about this before the show, is actually, porn being free online and being easily accessible. And I think also, have you visited Instagram lately? It's basically like a Playboy, edition. You can
Twitter's even worse.
Everything. Yeah, Twitter. All these social medias.
Reddit.
You don't need to. Why would you buy a Playboy subscription? A subscription for a year of Playboy is anywhere from like $180 to $400, depending on what you want to do. Why would you do that when a lot of the stuff that you can get, a lot of the same types of photographs you can find online.
Are so good.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man. Well, not a typical brand review, but a brand review nonetheless. We'll ride this train. We'll see where Playboy ends up. I want to thank Zach for coming in studio with us, and we'll definitely have you back, man. I thank you for taking the time out of your day to come in and talk a little Playboy with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, for those interested, check out artbyzach.com.
And that's Zach with an H.
Yes.
Good one.
That's what I was going to say. It's
good.
with an H. You got to make sure to put the H on the end. You can always find us on thehookradio.com. We'll be right back. Jason Arsmont. My name is Josh Reno. It's The Hook.